I read something recently about the first time the great Garry Shandling appeared on Johnny Carson's Tonight Show. Back then it was the be-all end-all for an American comedian. Do well there and you've taken the single biggest step it was possible to take. And Garry did well because he was brilliant. And afterwards, he went to his dressing room where his friends were waiting and collapsed, physically collapsed, crying, saying, "Did I do okay?" after giving the most important moment of his life literally everything he could. I think most people, when they first start out in industries like that, have a vaguely similar drive. It's part of the slightly psychotic fuel that jump-starts you into your career. I certainly did. Although I'm not sure, for me, what would have been that marker of success. There's not really a Tonight Show for funny circus acts, at least not anymore. But I don't really have that single-minded drive anymore, and I haven't for some time. And I think for the people that really believe in that sacrifice and hustle in pursuit of the big break thing, I think they might think this is a bad thing, but I'm not sure that it is. I think it might be healthy. And it's all thanks to mental illness. Okay, let me explain. Let me try to explain. My depression and anxiety have been with me since way before I started my performing career. And of course, they've always complicated things. I mean, it's hard enough to make your way in the creative arts without all the usual feelings of self-doubt, overthinking and fear being force multiplied by a black dog. But I did okay. Street performing is a good training ground for lots of things, but it's also a good way to silence your feelings of low self-esteem with cold, hard facts. I can't be too worthless as an artist because all those strangers clapped and gave me money. They must have done that for some reason. Over time, though, I felt my mental illness growing a little bit. It was gaining ground on the battlefield, so I devoted more resources to my own defending armies. And over a few years, with the help of love, therapy and medication, I'm in a better place than I've been in for most of my adult life. And it's that process that's helped me reevaluate what's important. Depression makes you pay attention to it. It shouts loudly in your head. It demands to be a high priority in your life, which is how it owns you. It's hard to have concrete goals for your career or personal life if there's a voice in your head talking about death all the time. But by doing that, it makes a mistake, a strategic error that you can turn to your advantage. The pain of depression means you learn to check in with yourself. When you're feeling low, you learn to self-examine to discover what flavour of awful the black dog has brought with it. But then, of course, that habit continues. And there might be times when you check in with yourself to find no pain, happiness even, and you notice it more deeply than you would have before. A couple of months ago I hurt my finger. This was worrying because I'm a juggler and a writer, which both really benefit from working fingers. It swelled up a little bit and it hurt when I bent it. Then recently I realised that it hurt less, that it was getting better. I got so used to checking for the ache that when it wasn't there, I immediately noticed. It's like that, maybe? If you're as lucky as I seem to be at the moment and you're able to at least partly treat your bad mental health, to be able to scratch the black dog behind its ear until it falls asleep for a while, then you might realise that along with the pain and fear that it brings with it, what it's also been teaching you to focus on is your own contentment, your happiness, your quality of life, your peace of mind, all the things it confiscated, those things that are easy targets because when they're there we often take them for granted. Depression makes us remember them by taking them away, and if you're lucky and some of them come back, you notice them. It's almost as if, by being the loud, nasty child, by screaming for attention and then making my life hell when it didn't get it, my mental illness accidentally taught me to recognize and value something that a lot of people spend a lifetime working towards: contentment in the moment. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist, I'm not your mum. This is just what's been going through my head lately. Maybe it's my age. Maybe it's the meds. Maybe it's a byproduct of how strange and unreliable the last couple of years have been. It's almost certainly partly that. But maybe it's at least a little bit what I've been talking about. But I'm finding myself more able to live in the moment than ever before. I think that's healthy. It's certainly something that Garry Shandling spent much of his life working towards. Thanks for watching. I hope you found that interesting. If you did, it would mean a lot if you'd subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All of my videos are made possible by my backers over at Patreon, so a big thanks to all of them for that. And also, if you like the stuff on my channel, then come and see me live, because that's what I really do. Dates of upcoming gigs below this video. Thanks again. See you next time.